Madam Clerk, the time is now 7:01 p.m.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The time is now 7:01 p.m. I'd like to call this regular Township Council meeting to order. Roll call. Councilwoman Perone,
Present.
Councilman Anderson, Councilwoman McIntosh,
Present.
Deputy Mayor Dr. Worthy,
Present.
Mayor Whitfield.
Present.
Thank you. For our prayer this evening, we have a slight change to the agenda. I'd like to invite Chaplain Thompson to lead us in tonight's prayer.
Good evening, Chaplain Thompson.
Thank you. Let us pray. Father God, in the name of Jesus, we give you glory and honor on this day. We come before you just as humble as we know how, with a bowed head and humble heart, that we will come to you above this council right now. We ask you right now that you would bless each and every one of them. Bless this township, Lord God. We ask you right now that you would move by your power divine in this meeting, Lord God. All that's on the agenda, we pray thee right now that as we come together as one, as Willingboro, as Township of Willingboro, that we will come together on every level, from the recreation to our educational department to our just neighbor to neighbor. So right now, in the name of Jesus, we ask you right now that you will move mightily among them and among us. And as we walk together as one, from the police department, the fire department, every department that's attached to us, that we will do what we would do to come together and make our township flourish. Right now, in the name of Jesus, we give you glory, honor, and praise. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen, amen, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Chaplain Thompson.
Please rise for the flag salute. Compliance statement. Notice was provided in compliance with Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975 to the Burlington County Times, Trenton Times, and Philadelphia Inquirer, stating the date, time, place, and the agenda to the extent it was known. Additionally, notice was filed in the office of the Township Clerk.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Good evening, everyone. This is one of our last meetings in December. We will be having a special meeting on December 22nd for one of our local businesses to discuss a matter regarding them. But I did want to say happy holidays to everyone. And as we get started, I'll invite Chief Bucks up.
So good evening, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, Council, and our Willingboro family. So it's my pleasure tonight to introduce you to our newest officer, Officer Corey Scott. You give a little. So Officer Scott began his employment with the Willingboro Police Department back in January of 2025. He experienced a minor setback in the police academy, but through his perseverance, his determination, and strong commitment to serving Willingboro, he successfully graduated the police academy as number class 92 of the Camden County Police Academy. So prior to becoming a police officer, Officer Scott served as a juvenile corrections officer, and he will bring valuable experience in working with our youth. So today, not only will Officer Scott be sworn in and take his oath of office, but he's also celebrating a birthday. So at this point, I would ask Officer Scott to please stand as the mayor goes ahead and does your oath of office. You can step right here.
Good evening, Officer Scott. Good evening. It is a pleasure to be in front of you to swear you in this evening. If you would, raise your right hand. And repeat after me. I, Corey Scott,
I, Corey Scott,
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established
governments established
in the United States,
in the United States,
in this state,
in this state,
county,
county,
and township,
and township,
under the authority of the people.
with the authority of the people.
And I will faithfully,
I will faithfully,
impartially,
partially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties of police officer
perform all the duties of police officer
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
All right, congratulations. And if Officer Scott, if you would just turn around to the camera so that the community can see you. Willingboro, I'd like to introduce to you our newest officer, Officer Corey Scott.
So at this point, I would ask Officer Scott's family and friends to please come forward as his girlfriend goes ahead and pins his badge to his chest. Feel free to take as many pictures as you want. All right.
Okay. And if you would come up here for a picture? Get in there, Chief. I got you. Oh, she's having a blast. Having a time her home. And all right, and we will continue on with our meeting. We do have a few presentations this evening. And first on the agenda is the Economic Development Committee. Our chairperson is Mr. Jabari Adams, and our Economic Development Manager is Mr. Mark DeShield. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening. All right, good evening, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, members of council and township. My name is Jabari Adams. I am the chair for the Economic Development Committee for the Township of Willingboro. So we are going to be presenting you our end of the year report. So this is an accumulation of all the things that we started out and aspired to do at the beginning of the year, the things that we've accomplished, and then some items that we look forward to accomplishing next year, and also some things that we need to be able to accomplish those tasks. So we did have a PowerPoint presentation. I'm not sure, is that, no? Okay, cool. All right. So, all right. So once that gets up, hopefully that'll get up in a couple minutes. We're going to go ahead and get started. So, This is a 2025 progress update and strategic recommendations for 2025 and into the year for 2026. So the purpose of our committee, our job essentially is to act as a pseudo advisory board to the council to provide research, expertise, resources, and data-driven insight to support township council agendas. So just promote economic well-being, to provide evidence-based strategies for revitalization, add capacity and focus, and to be a general arm for the council. It means they're reaching out to the community and at large and the better business community at large. So a couple of goals that we had set out at the beginning of the year to achieve, and then we're going to kind of go over some of the things that we actually winded up being able to do. One of our goals was to attract, retain, and support businesses to create local employment opportunities, develop and implement workforce development initiatives, provide a business community with resources such as financial literacy, business planning, capital, incubator and accelerator programs. Also hosting roundtables and workshops to gather direct community feedback for needs and challenges that the business community is having. Also to strengthening public and private partnerships in the township, and to build other strategic partnerships with local institutions. So we were set some very ambitious goals this year, and we were able to get started and accomplish a few. Just to name a couple, we had an event on November 20th over at the JFK Center called Business Over Bites. Was a business owner engagement event where we invited local businesses from the community to come in and kind of have some dialogue and conversation around having in the township, any needs that they have, any accomplishments that they had, any events that they have coming up, just so we can get some direct feedback, obviously to provide to you, so we can work on addressing some of those challenges direct from the business community. We've also started working on some strategic workforce partnerships. So we did start working with the school district. We are currently working on 3 programs with them that some of our members are directly involved in, that we're going to be working on with the CTE director to be implemented in the high school over the course of the next year. So we are in the planning phase right now for two of those subjects, and then starting summertime, I think we're going to be running a summer program to kind of pilot a few of those so that they can make a determination in the following school year if they're going to turn them into a full curriculum. So there are things that we are working very diligently with the school district. Oh, okay, now we had a presentation. All right, there are some external, we can go back one slide. Thank you, appreciate it. There are some external partnerships that we've been working with. During that chat and shoot that we had on November 20th, we are developing relationships with Chase Bank here in Willingboro. We actually have a meeting in the beginning of January to begin working with them, the Small Business Development Center and LAEDA out in Camden, to provide some one-on-one workshops with the business owners in the township, which is going to provide business planning. And all of these services are free to the business owner. So this is business planning, this is financial planning for these businesses. It is also strategic planning for scaling, and also additional workshops and resources that they're going to be providing for free to the township. So we're going to be working with them and providing those resources at the top of the year, next year in 2026. We were supposed to have a developers conference in October that wound up getting canceled by the county. However, we did hold our own internal Willingboro developers meeting that we had at the beginning of October. We were able to invite some of the owners from the township, some of the commercial property owners. We did get some direct feedback from them about, different things that they were looking at, challenges that they were having and interacting with the township, and then also plans that they had for some of their properties and help that they would need moving forward. So we are going to be providing that information to the council very soon. One of the things that we also did, thanks to Ms. Bell, Senator Mahami, who is an integral part of the committee, we did create a business directory for the website. On the township website, there is now a business directory for all of the businesses that are listed in Willingboro that will be updated as we get new businesses to come in. We are also looking at building that portion of the website out so that way it's a little bit more interactive, so that members of the community can always come in, kind of see what's going on with the businesses, see if they're offering any specials or any type of incentives to be able to shop local in the township. And then once again, we're also going to be working on doing eventually creating a small business resource center, where not only the businesses have the access to those resources I mentioned earlier externally, so they can reach all those resources virtually, but there also will be a place inside the township or in Willingboro where they can come in and get the one-on-one counseling that they need for whatever their needs are, whether that be attorneys, accountants, real estate agents, whatever they need. We're going to be able to try to provide that internally here at the township. So these are just a few of the things that our committee has been working hard on. These men and women have been working very diligently this year. Mr. DeShield is going to explain some of the data and the research that we were able to pull, which I think you're going to be impressed by. That's also going to help lead the charge on creating more opportunity for development and revitalization to come to the township.
Thank you, Jabari. Thank you, Council, for giving us the opportunity to speak to you this evening. We can go to the next slide, please. The efforts of the Economic Development Committee are even more vital for the township, particularly amidst multiple demographic and economic shifts that have happened in the community. These shifts create a tremendous opportunity for economic well-being in the township. At the same time, there are also going to be a challenge that we need to address through proactive and data-driven strategies. The committee has the expertise and is well suited to help the council in dealing with this situation. So first I want to do is, if we go to the next slide, is I review some of the U.S. Census data to provide us with some insight in why the economic trajectory of the township economy. This is a key time, and it's ripe for investment in the township. First, there's a couple of key factors that are happening. One is population stabilization. After years of population decline and up and downs in the populations, we're seeing over the last 10 years stabilization in the population. That's a good sign. It tells people this is a stable community that they want to invest in. In fact, if you look at projections going to 2035, the township is now at 31,000. It's looking for us to increase to 32,000. Those are good signs and time for investment in the new stabilized environment. This is particularly important because it can allow us to provide an opportunity for us to kind of leverage our position in the county. As the third largest municipality, we are a central force in the county. With this stabilization, we can use those market opportunities as being that central population center to create investments in retail and also in service businesses. If we can go to the next slide, please. Here's a very interesting slide, and I just want to talk about, in addition to these hidden kind of, in addition to the period of stabilization that we have some hidden market potential here that really, unless you really take a deep dive into the numbers that you can see. Willingboro has a diverse income distribution. When you look at the income distribution in Willingboro, what you'll see is, using the American Community Surveys from 2022, we see that there's 5,017 households making above $100,000 and above. And that is a tremendous asset, and you don't see it. When developers come in, what they do is they look at the per capita income. And the per capita income in this community, it's masked by the fact that there are a large child population in the community and our diverse income distribution. And when you look at that, it's 38,000. It's one of the lowest in the county. But you look at this, it tells you a different story. In addition, it shows some incredible growth. If you look at 2010, those people making $100,000 a year doubled, moving from 2,951 to 5,017. More kind of impressive are those making over $200,000. That increased almost sixfold in that same period. They moved from 179 to 1,083. This hidden market potential is an opportunity for growth. We just have to tell the story. And that's part of what the committee will do is just telling that story. This is untapped commercial spending potential that we need to promote. If we can go to the next slide. This is one of the challenges that we have. We've got the potential of income, but we also have a problem in what they call retail leakage. We did an analysis looking at the income in the community and what that income translates in terms of buying power. And if you do that, that's what you get your potential retail, and we're talking retail sales, $501.7 million in potential sales are here in this community. Unfortunately, what is happening now is only about $100 million. If you look at the generation of revenue in this community, and what we did was we used the economic census from 2022, we see that the town is only generating $100 million. That means $401 million is going elsewhere, going to Mount Laurel, Burlington Township, all of the towns around us. And this is a challenge, but it's also an opportunity, because what this says is that investors can come in, they have a potential of tapping over $401.7 million of potential revenue. We can go to the next slide, please. Next thing we want to do is talk about the kind of emerging economic development opportunities. And one of the things, Willingboro's quarter is kind of designed from the 1950s design. It's auto-centric. It's a model that kind of hampers its competitiveness at the time. And to address this issue, and what we do, and I believe council is on the same page, is the promotion of mixed-use development that fosters kind of experiential environments. That's the retail that we can recapture. And that's the retail that we need to go after, is that experientially designed retail. So that's what the committee would like to do, is to help the township recapture and cultivate that. And what you do in the process of doing it is just creating a vital space that has things like from restaurants to public spaces, residential, all of this mixed together so that people have a sense of place and they want to come here not only to shop, but also just to experience the community. Go to the next slide, please. Finally, understanding these demographic shifts and the opportunities ahead for Willingboro, the committee has this vision for 2025. We'd like to help the council in moving toward that. One is the promotion of the mixed-use development. We kind of talked about that's the right mix to tap that $401.7 million in untapped income. Secondly, is expand workforce development. And Mr. Adams here already spoke about what we're doing now for the workforce development. It's important. If you also look at that income distribution, you'll see is we have a wide range of incomes from very high to medium to low. We need to also ensure that the community, that we're building up the capacity of the community to make living wages. And then finally, the next thing is to kind of strengthen small business development. And we believe that's going to be one of the keys also. One of the things that you'll note in Willingboro, when you look at the kind of industrial mix in Willingboro, we're highly concentrated. It's the hospital, healthcare, number one, outspans every other opportunity in Willingboro. But what we see as the opportunity there is to bring some more diversity, is to focus on the small business. And that's one of the things the committee, we talked about some of the things to kind of help promote the small business activities and training and financial assistance. And I know you want to go into the next.
All right, so as you can see, we've kind of done a lot of work in really trying to get a lot of information and data so that anytime we have conversations with any potential developers, any potential businesses that want to come into town, we can kind of lead that conversation with facts, with information. So there's a few things that we feel like we're going to need from council that will help us drive this message forward and help us do a lot more work next year. So one thing is that we are going to be putting on a lot more events next year. One thing that we did do Last year, we actually tagged on with Senator Singleton to do a resource fair at the JFK Center here in May of last year, which garnered about well over 100 participants there. And we're also planning to do the same thing again next year a couple of times so that we can make sure that the folks in the township have the opportunity to have access to those resources, and also folks who are not aware of the opportunities can also come to the township and see that there's opportunity here. So presence, your presence at those events, obviously we're going to encourage you. We need it. People, we want folks to see that the council is involved in making sure that the township businesses are going to be thriving. So that's one. We do need it's a dedicated page in the 2026 calendar. We would like a dedicated page in the 2026 calendar for those events so that it is separate from the township calendar so that people can go there and access that calendar visually. Inclusion in the weekly newsletter. We would look to actually be included in the Willingboro Connect app. We're also asking for creative control of the economic development page. There's some things that we want to do to make that page a little bit more interactive so that residents have a reason to go there. They have a reason to get the information from there. And also what that also does is that still drives traffic to the township site for any other things that the township also has going on. Which includes the inclusion in the social media platforms. And the last thing is a budget. We would like funds for these targeted initiatives. Most of the things that we're getting are free, or they're through organizations that offer these services for free. However, by having that budget, it will allow us to provide more targeted services to these individuals. So, for example, the organizations that I mentioned earlier, if we were able to provide some funds for the Small Business Development Center, they can designate a consultant to come to Willingboro at least once a quarter, if not once every month, to be here the entire day, strictly for Willingboro businesses in a designated space. That service is not expensive, but it's also not free. So those are the things that we're looking to do. Also, we're looking for those funds to support business outreach and the research that Mr. DeShields is doing. We do have some partnerships that are coming up with Rutgers University that we've been in talks with to kind of come up with some more ancillary resources for manufacturing, and also having more strategic solutions for you all to consider when it comes to bringing jobs and partnerships to the township that align with jobs that are coming up in the future. So these are just a few things that we're looking to do. As you can see, like I said, the committee, they do excellent work. They work extremely hard, and they're very, very diligent and passionate about economic development in this community. The next slide? I think that might be it. This is just a few pictures that we had there. But yes, that concludes our report. If there are any questions at all, please, we welcome them.
Thank you, Mr. Adams. Any questions from council? Deputy Mayor Worthy?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you for the presentation. I was wondering, based on the budget that you're requesting from council, have you drafted a proposed budget so we can see the funds that you're requesting and how they would be utilized?
So we had talked about that because we were in the midst of closing out some events a couple of weeks ago. So we are in the midst of creating that budget now, thinking about the events that we're going to be doing next year and how much those events are going to cost if we're going to do them on our dime. So you will have that coming at the top of the year.
All right. Any other questions from council? Councilwoman Perone.
Thank you. Excellent presentation, by the way. Very comprehensive and helpful. So I have a question relating to our vacant properties that we currently have, commercial properties. And, we have so many dollar stores, and what's the other one? There are a lot of dollar stores.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to know about, have you spoken to the owners of those properties where perhaps you could have some sort of meeting about advertising the vacant properties, some sort of like marketing material, letting people know this property is available, whether it be lawn signs or something maybe not as expensive, something virtual. Have you met with any of the business owners that currently have vacant commercial properties?
That's a great question. So the meeting that we had in October was our initial outreach to those owners, and we also invited the brokers and agents that represent those owners also. We didn't necessarily get the turnout that we would like, but we understand that this is, this is an ongoing thing, and we're kind of building from not having, almost very little contact or communication with them. So moving forward, we're going to be doing this, probably more than likely, we're probably going to be doing this quarterly, starting next year, having those meetings to kind of develop those relationships with them and kind of figure out if they've been getting any traction from anybody else or from elsewhere, and then B, what we can do to kind of help bridge that gap and address the challenge that you're talking about.
One comment I want to make, one of the things that we look at it in terms of the data is looking at every sector in terms of employment in the community and try to deal with the issue of the same stores in the same place. What are the types of industries that we're going to target? When I talk about industries, I'm not talking about industries, I'm talking about sectors. Like, is it going to be retail? I'm just using that as an example. Is it going to be retail? Is it going to be business services? So we've done a kind of comprehensive review, and council, we're getting a copy of this shortly, of what are the different opportunities. Once we have that, that'll be even better for us as we talk to the vacant property owners in terms of what we want you to market this establishment for.
Right.
Here's what would work, and here's the data that shows that it worked.
Yeah, and then the last thing I wanted to ask is, when you do meet with them, perhaps finding out from them what are their challenges that they may have seen as far as bringing other types of businesses to Willingboro. But that concludes my questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, I just want to thank the Economic Development Committee for all of their hard work this year. We've had a tremendous amount of growth in the action of the Economic Development Committee, and you've been doing great work this year, building partnerships with the school district on their CTE program, having members of the Economic Development Committee assist the school district in growing some of those job sectors or job training programs over on that side has been really helpful, and also just finding the challenges. So I am looking forward to getting that report of the challenges that you were able to find out from local businesses, so that we can make whatever changes we need to at the legislative level or the procedural level to make business life easier for small businesses in our township. So thank you for all your work, and we look forward to a very fruitful 2026.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, and next we have an update for our Performing Arts Center by Mr. Bobby Duckett.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Council. How's everybody?
Very
Happy holidays. Happy. We are finally turning the final corner of getting the Willingboro Performing Arts Center complete. You guys have a summary of what our spring programming is. I don't want to give out artists and everything yet because we're in the process of finishing up negotiations with contracts. But we have a diverse program that will be starting with our grand opening on April 3rd and running through end of May. The theater's pretty much ready to go as far as all the contracting, and we're finishing up a little bit of construction. So we should be complete by mid-February and ready to open on the 3rd. With that being said, we have some good partnerships that are coming that we're working on to bring very diverse programming to the township and reach out to everyone. So as you guys can see the dates that I presented to you that we have, but like I said, until we get all the contracts finally finished, I don't want to make that announcement until we get there. We also have some partnerships with some great rentals that are coming in. We'll be announcing a major inaugural function for September for the township that we're very, very excited about and moving forward. So we're in a good space right now, budgetary wise, of just what we want to go do, and any questions that you guys might have.
Any questions from council? All right, Mr. Duckett, it seems like everyone's anxious and anticipating.
We are all very anxious. So
Yeah.
no, we're there. I mean, we've had a lot of Deputy Mayor Worthy and Councilman Anderson has been with me through the whole drive of dealing with our contractors, which I've learned a lot about now. I'm a good project manager. But we've had some, things that we've been fighting through. For the most part, those things are behind us now. So with the major things for the room have been done, which you guys will be approving a few things today that have us ready to go. So I'm very excited about moving forward. And as you can see what that list is, I think we're going to have a nice run for the spring and come back in the fall and be ready to really rock and roll for our fall semester.
All right. Hold
All right.
on one second.
Yes.
I'm sorry, just
Council.
one question with what you handed out to us for the March 19th. I didn't see a time, so we're going to get more details about that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That is something I want to do, as you can see,
Yeah.
in-house, so that you guys can all see it prior to it opening up.
Right.
So there'll be more details to come on all of this.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay?
All right, and Mr. Duckett, I did want to just take a moment to thank you for your work on the Performing Arts Center.
Thank you.
I know when we all first embarked on this project that had been long awaited, we had some challenges right from the very beginning with the sound system. And you were able to come in and say, wait a second, this is not as state of the art as you think
Yes.
it's supposed to be. And throughout the progress of the project, you've been instrumental in helping us to get what we want out of the project and not just what we're given. So thank you for your diligence.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me, and I think we've got a lot more work to do.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
Hopefully not too much.
No.
All right. All right, and in honor of the holiday shopping season, we are going to have one proclamation for Small Business Appreciation Month. Yes.
Proclamation declaring December Small Business Appreciation Month. Whereas small businesses serve as the economic backbone of Willingboro Township, providing employment opportunities, supporting local families, and contributing significantly to the stability and prosperity of our community. And whereas the owners and employees of small businesses consistently demonstrate determination, skill, and creativity, often working long hours and overcoming numerous challenges to meet the needs of residents and maintain high quality services. And whereas small businesses enhance the cultural identity and vibrancy of Willingboro by bringing diversity in products, services, cuisines, craftsmanship, and experiences that reflect the richness of our community. And whereas the month of December represents a vital period for small businesses and community members as they engage in holiday shopping, seasonal gatherings, and local events that stimulate the local economy. And whereas the Willingboro Economic Development Commission plays a vital role in supporting, promoting, and advocating for local businesses and actively works to strengthen the economic environment in which small businesses grow and succeed. And whereas it is fitting and proper that Willingboro Township honor the essential role small businesses play and encourage residents to support these local establishments throughout the holiday season and the entire year. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Mayor Samantha E. Whitfield of the Township of Willingboro, on behalf of the governing body and all residents, do hereby proclaim the month of December 2025 as Small Business Appreciation Month and urge all members of the community to recognize, support, and celebrate Willingboro small business owners for their invaluable impact on our township.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Worthy. So yes, thank you once again, all of our small business community, also our Economic Development Committee for all of the work that you do and services that you provide to Willingboro Township. And now I will turn it over to Mr. Harris for the manager's municipal updates.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council in Willingboro Township. Can you hear me? Can you hear me good? Okay, not
Let
good.
me pull it up a little closer.
A little closer? Okay, there we go. There we go, right on the lips. We're going to begin our report this evening with our engineer, Mr. Chipola, is going to come and give us some updates very briefly on our projects that are still moving forward here in the township. Mr. Chipola.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Good evening, Mayor, members of council, and the township.
Good evening.
Good evening. I'd like to start tonight with Edge Lane. All curbing and concrete work is complete. Due to the weather conditions, we may not be completing the paving as scheduled until March of next year. For the Kennedy Center track and turf field, we have irrigation installations are 90% complete. Turf field just needs to be final graded. We have a tentative schedule for the track to be paved this Thursday or Friday, weather permitting, but I see that we have some rain forecast for those days, so I'm not sure whether they're going to be able to hold that schedule. If that's not going to be paved during that time, that may be having to be put back until March, or when they can get the machines in to do the paving, and also the sodding, which would not be done until the spring to guarantee that it would take. For the Performing Arts Center, as Mr. Duckett has stated, we're progressing in a timely manner. J.H. Williams, our contractor, is on schedule to complete his contract in early February. We do have some remaining items for Phase 1 that need to be completed, which is the carpets, installations, some fire extinguishers, and the aisle lighting. Recently, we received $367,000 grant for bikeway extensions for about a half a mile for new and shared paths along JFK Way and Van Sciver Parkway. And we also received $218,000 state grant for East Lane and East Gate Lane for milling, overlaying, curb ramp, sidewalks, and drainage improvements. So we're pretty happy about getting those two grants. Mill Creek Park, it's currently under Green Acres review for the final review for the Jake Place and pickleball courts. And I reached out to RVE earlier today, but there is no timeline given onto when we can expect those approvals to be obtained. For the Crystal Lake floating dock, I requested that we award the design of the site to CME Associates, and this would be for the site design, parking, and all NJDEP permitting. For the food pantry, I'm finally working on getting three proposals, we're finally going to obtain three proposals for architects to complete the design for the total pantry so that we can go out for subcontractor price outs. So far, I received one price from Remington and Vernick Engineers, and I'm expecting another price from Joseph McKernan Associates and LAN Associates. And that is all I have. Any questions from the council?
All right, any questions for Mr. Cipolla? Councilwoman McIntosh.
I just have a question referring to Edge Lane. I just want to, can you refresh my memory as to what we're fixing on Edge Lane?
Well, we have a lot of deteriorated pavement on that road, and there was a lot of curbing and sidewalk that need to be reset because it wasn't done to grade, and the grading and the drainage wasn't effective. So what we've done, we've replaced a lot of the slope gutter along the street, replaced the concrete aprons, we replaced a lot of sidewalks. Basically, the road was in pretty bad shape, a lot of deterioration. So we wanted to grab it before it got any worse, before we had to put even more money in. So it's basically still a mill and overlay project.
I would ask Mr. Harris, can we just make sure we look at it? Because after the snowstorm, there's still a lot of flooding, and the water's still welling up in front of people's driveways and turning into ice. So
Right.
I just wanted to make sure we take a look at that and make sure
Sure.
you were trying to alleviate that.
Right.
That's being alleviated.
Right. That was the intent of the design. Now, like I said, they haven't mill and paved it, which they are going to change some of the grades when they mill and pave. So that should take care of any ponding that you see right now. Yeah. We just want to try to get the project done. We're kind of in the middle of it right now. And unfortunately, with this snap we had, it kind of put a monkey wrench in their plans to get it done.
okay with that. I just want to make sure that that is being alleviated.
Right, but we wanted to at least finish the concrete. We didn't want to have people's driveways unfinished or they were driving on a steel ramp or something like that. So I wanted to push to get that done.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Any other questions?
Deputy Mayor Worthy.
Yes, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I know you mentioned for Jake's Place, you said RVE said that there's not a timeline that they can share yet.
Mm.
Do we know when we can have something more definitive to have a plan?
I'm going to check on that. Like I said, I had reached out to Mr. Johnson at RVE today, figuring that you might have that question, but I did not receive a phone call yet back from him. But I can certainly get back with Mr. Harris as soon as I find that out, and he can pass that on to you,
Okay, thank you.
Deputy Mayor. You're very welcome. I don't anticipate it to be a long process.
And I did have two questions. I just wanted to confirm that the turf, you mentioned turf at the JFK track. It's natural turf, not astroturf.
Yes, it's sod. It's grown grass. They're going to roll it up from the field and roll it out.
Okay,
Thank
I just wanted to clarify that for the
No,
community.
I'm sorry. Okay.
And then also, with the Performing Arts Center, are we on track still to have the reorg in that room or no?
That's going to be up to the contractor because he feels, the last time I spoke with him, that that's still a working site and there may be liability issues for that. So that's might be up to the contractor to make that final determination, Mayor.
Okay. All right, thank you. That
All
was
right,
all.
you're very welcome, everybody.
Cool.
Have a good evening.
And Mayor, if I may respond to your last question about the reorganization meeting. I don't think the technology is in place that could really facilitate that meeting for January 1st.
All right. Well, maybe we can just make sure that all of the technology is in place in the banquet hall,
Yeah.
and working properly so that we can have it there as we normally do. All
Absolutely.
right, you can continue, Mr. Harris.
So I'm pleased to report that the township operations in November continue to be strong, coordinated, and fiscally sound, with departments delivering high levels of service while still staying disciplined and accountable. Financially, the township remains in a very solid position. Our year-to-date revenue collected has totaled $45.2 million, which is 103% of what we anticipated for this point in the year. And November alone has just generated just over 18 million, driven primarily by tax collections. On the expenditure side, our year-to-date spending stands at 45.47 million, or 94% of the appropriated spending, so excluding non-spending items. Payroll continues to be our largest cost driver, followed by our operational expenses and health benefits. Major statutory payments include did 3.3 million to the Board of Education and 2.7 million in county taxes. Turning to public safety, the Willingboro Police Department continues to operate at full strength with 70 or 71 sworn officers now. And I want to highlight the department's continued investment in leadership and succession planning. 2 sergeants have completed the 14-week NJSA COP West Point Command and Leadership Program. 1 sergeant has completed a 10-week executive leadership program at Fairleigh Dickinson University, and additional supervisors completed frontline and executive leadership training. These are command-level investments that strengthen accountability, decision-making, and long-term stability within the police department. Our operational readiness remains high with 100% completion of all mandatory trainings. And an officer did graduate the academy and was sworn in this evening, successfully reintegrating an officer returning, and we are successfully reintegrating an officer who is returning from a 3-year military deployment. Community engagement also remained a priority, including senior outreach events, neighborhood watch meetings, monthly food pantry deliveries, participation in the Straight to Treatment program, and assistance with large-scale food distributions. Most notably, 330 turkeys were distributed during the Thanksgiving season in partnership with Virtua Health. Our fire and EMS teams continue to respond to high volume of calls, both in town and through mutual aid to surrounding municipalities. Notable incidents included a vehicle fire, a residential structure fire that required Red Cross assistance, along with multiple regional support responses. Their professionalism and readiness continues to be evident. I want to take a moment to thank the Department of Public Works for a job well done during this year's 2025's final snowstorm. Despite having several plow and salt spreading trucks out of service for repairs, DPW executed snow and ice control operations very effectively and safely. And that performance set the bar for the 2026 winter season. And I also think it reflects the strong planning and adaptability of the department. Beyond winter operations, DPW remained extremely active. In November alone, crews collected 1,550 cubic yards of leaves. This was also in the midst of our, I'll call it dump site. I don't know what you would call it, where we deposit the leaves. In the middle of collection, he decided that he could no longer support the capacity that he was receiving from Willingboro. And although he was providing the service to us for free, it became an issue. But Mr. Philpott and his creative thinking was able to go ahead and secure a location in a matter of a couple of hours that enabled us to complete our leaf collection on a timely and fiscally responsible method. So I thank Mr. Chapman and Mr. Philpott for their quick thinking and resilience in that situation. They also inspected and cleaned 536 stormwater catch basins, repaired 15 potholes, collected trash from parks and streets, recycled 3/4 of a ton of metal. DPW also advanced infrastructure projects, including electrical service for the Mill Creek Park EV charging stations, which are still underway. PSC&G will be installing the electric components that will allow us to move forward with the installation of the EV charging stations, and they are continuing to do work at the JFK in relation to other things there. The inspections department maintained a high level of enforcement and compliance activity, completing 1,710 inspections. They issued 667 violations, closing 909 cases into compliance. The department generated an additional $73,000 in revenue in November, which put them over their $1 million mark, and continues to actively manage vacant property registrations across the township. Our community affairs and senior services remained a critical support system for the residents, with Senior Center recording over 2,000 plus visits in November, providing nearly 300 transportation trips, distributed food weekly, and continued health, wellness, and benefits assistance programmings for seniors, veterans, and residents in need. Finally, the Recreation Department maintained programming while planning ahead. Youth sports participation continued. The basketball season begins on December 20th, and preparations are underway for the Recreation Summit in January, along with the new program offerings in financial literacy and wellness. So in closing, November reflects a township that is financially stable, operationally disciplined, and focused on delivering results. And I want to thank our department heads and staff for their continued professionalism and commitment to serving the residents of Willingboro. And I would like to thank you for your continued support in all of our efforts. And that is my report.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Any questions for our township manager regarding his report?
And I'll just say that that was my summary. The full report is in your email.
Councilwoman McIntosh.
I want to make sure leaf collection is not over, correct? Or is it done?
Mr. Chapman?
Every time, Mr. Chapman.
All right. Good evening, everybody. How's everyone doing? So, weather permitting, if we can get the snow off the ground in time, we anticipate to continue our final pass, but we don't know how that's going to work out. But hopefully, if the snow melts and we get it done before December 31st, we do anticipate doing our final pass. All right.
If, Mr. Chapman, if we're not able to do that final pass, will pass be done in the spring just to clean up what?
We can work that out. Yes,
Thank
we
you.
can.
Appreciate
But
it.
also, if we don't have the ability to make that final pass, we are collecting bagged leaves at the DPW yard, so you can bring them, drop them off, and we'd be able to take them there.
Okay.
All righty?
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Deputy Mayor Worthy?
Thank you. Mr. Harris, in response to the township being financially stable, operationally disciplined, and focused on delivering results, I was wondering if the payment list, bills and payment list, includes the vendors that we previously discussed, who are performing services at the senior center.
The bills list that you have does not reflect those payments,
Okay.
but those bills, and I was assured by Ms. Foster that those bills will be entered and will be paid by the end of the year. They'll be entered into the system tomorrow and will be paid by the end of the year.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions for Mr. Harris? Seeing none, Mr. Harris, you can go on to the ordinances and resolutions for this evening.
Thank you, Mayor. So ordinance number 2025 and 2024, 2025-24 and 2025-25 are related to the township clerk's office. So I will defer to her to explain those for your clarity.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. So in front of you for public hearing and possible final adoption is ordinance 2025-24, which is an ordinance amending and supplementing chapter 342 of the code in Township of Willingboro entitled Taxi Cabs to update and expand regulations pertaining to limousines and rename chapter 342 of the code to taxi cabs and limousines. That's really just a long way of saying that we had to update our ordinance to make sure we're in line with state statutes. So in our previous ordinance, it only really covered taxi cabs when in reality we have to make sure we have something for limos too. So that's what we added. And then for 2025-25, this is an ordinance amending chapter 150-9 of the Township Code entitled Fees for Licenses and Permits to permit collection of unpaid mercantile licenses and to add limousine fees. So it just adds the limousine fees, and then it also will give us the ability to collect back unpaid mercantile licenses up to 3 years. Those are your ordinances. All right.
Thank you, Mrs. Savino. And as far as the resolutions being presented to you this evening for your consideration, resolution number 270 or 291 is a resolution authorizing the approval of vouchers for payment and ratification. Resolution 292 is a resolution for budget transfers of the township to meet the requirements for operating the affairs of the township. And we recommend the governing body approves the transfer of excess funds to appropriations deemed insufficient. And this ensures that funds are allocated appropriately to meet the financial requirements of the municipality, again, maintaining fiscal integrity and accountability. Resolution number 293 is a resolution authorizing a change order number 7 for a contract with J.H. Williams Enterprises for the Willingboro Performing Arts Center Phase 2 project. This contract will now will be reduced by $3,718.64, resulting in a decrease in the contract price from $1,112,740 to $1,109,022, reflecting a 0.3% decrease. This is some adjustments in steel support beams for the staging lights. So it's not often that we get contractual reductions, but we receive them and appreciate them when we do. Resolution number 294 is a resolution to amend Resolution 2025-236 to change the name of the contracted vendor from Fred Beans Ford of Washington to Winter Ford of Cherry Hill. We previously submitted a resolution that was approved to purchase 3 Ford vehicles from Fred Beans. After the resolution was approved, we contacted Fred Beans, and they said they no longer had the 2025 Ford vehicles in stocks, but they did have 2026 models. We contacted Winter Ford, which had the 2026 vehicles, but at a slightly lower price than Fred Beans, and they were on state contract. Therefore, we are requesting the amendment to purchase the 3 2026 Ford police vehicles from Winter Ford instead of Fred Bean. Resolution number 295 is a resolution authorizing the Township of Willingboro to award a contract to Audio Assurance for the procurement of an upgraded sound and lighting system for the Willingboro Performing Arts Center. This was an issue that became exposed in 2024, where it was determined that the proposed sound system was not as high tech as we anticipated it would be. We had gone to bid on several occasions, not finding a successful bidder, which allowed us to negotiate the procurement of the equipment in accordance with New Jersey statutes. We did have conversations with Audio Assurance, and they provided proposals to conform with the specifications, including in the September and October 24 bid packages. The total cost of the complete equipment package, including guidance during the installation, came to $459,749, and we're asking that you award the contract to them for the procurement of that equipment. Resolution number 296 is a resolution authorizing the extension of the contract for custodial services. Willingboro, pursuant to Resolution 2024-316, awarded a contract to Lee's Pristine to provide services for the 2025 contract year with the potential of 1 12-month renewal. And we are asking that that contract be extended for an additional year in the amount of $478,358.52. Resolution number 297 is a resolution authorizing the submission of a grant application to the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs for the fiscal year 2026 Local Recreation Improvement Grant. We desire to apply for and obtain a grant from the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs to cover the costs associated with updating our community centers, equipments, facilities, and particularly pools. The application is due in February, but we are asking that you authorize us to apply for this DCA grant because we want to be ahead of it, because we would really like to procure that money and apply as much of it to our pools as we can. Resolution number 298 is a resolution awarding a contract, a cooperative contract to Dell Marketing, who is a participant in the New Jersey state-approved purchasing cooperative contract for the municipal website, agenda and meeting management, recreation management, and next request services for township operations. We would like to go ahead and begin the process of moving towards Civic Plus as our new website. Civics Plus platform is actually provided through state contracts, either through Dell or another provider, SHI, and we did get quotes from Dell to provide the Civic Plus platform to us. And we're going to ask that you award that contract or authorize the purchase of that through the state contracting process. Resolution number 299 is a resolution authorizing an increase in the not to exceed amount for Granger, who is a contract participant in the New Jersey State Approved Purchasing Cooperative Contract for facilities maintenance and repair and operations and industrial supplies. And Mr. Chapman, if you can give me just a brief synopsis of what these services are specifically related to.
Alrighty. Once again, so it's just a mixture. So some of it was some plumbing supplies that we got from JFK, so capital expenses, PPE, protective equipment through Clean Communities grant. It's just increasing the amount so we can pay the bills that we have, that's all.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
And don't go away yet, because you may have a question here. Resolution number 300 is a resolution authorizing the township to establish a not to exceed contract with National Highway Products. Again, another participant in the New Jersey State Approved Purchasing Cooperative to purchase sign blanks. And I just want to affirm that these are the sign blanks for the proposed new street signs.
Yes, it was the wish of the township manager to get that done this year, so we just wanted to get that on this last agenda. That's for the street signs that we presented 2 council meetings ago. Yes. All right.
And those are all the resolutions and ordinances being presented to you for consideration this evening.
All right, thank you, Mr. Harris. At this time, we will have public comment on agenda items only. This public comment is for any of the things that have been presented in the meeting up until this point and the ordinances and resolutions that are on the agenda. Please state your name and address when you come up to the microphone. And there are some cards in the back if you need to be contacted afterwards, if we have to follow up with you for additional information so that we have your information. Public comment is now open. This public comment is for 2 minutes.
Hello, Mariam Saluki. I live at 279 Tiffany Lane here in Willingboro. And this is the first meeting I've attended in many, many years. And I'm certainly glad that I did because of the presentation given by the Economic Development Committee. I was really impressed with that. But my question or concern was that the suggestions or the proposals, Willingboro's commercial sites and residences have been empty for an exceptionally long time. And so I was kind of surprised, Councilwoman Perrone, when you mentioned what are the challenges, or have we approached the people responsible for renting those places about what they would recommend? That should have been done, I would have thought, a long time ago. They also talked about retail and industries in the township. Where? And what kind of retail? $405 million in leakage is quite a bit. But where and what do you think the residents of this town are going to want to buy, stay here in town to buy? So I'm real curious, and I thought it might be helpful for me. I'm not that economically astute, but if you would maybe in one of your presentations or in something that you're going to present to the community, maybe do let us know what kind of businesses will help impact our taxes. What do we need to do to either lower those taxes or to do something to impact them? Because I know we have businesses here, but do those businesses pay taxes? I know as a business person here myself, I don't remember ever paying any Willingboro taxes. So who pays them? Who are we trying to recruit to come in and help our economic situation? I think that that's really important. The other thing is there was a lot of stuff that I heard that I didn't even know about. How are we getting information out to our community about what's available? I didn't even know we had an economic development committee. And while I was sitting there, I went to the website and I don't see it listed, or I wouldn't know where to go into which department to find that out. So if there is something to get the word out to people so that we know where we can get this kind of information. And
thank you, Dr. Saluki. Your time is up.
Okay, good. I just want to say we can't hear. And so you all, that includes all of you, and that includes even people who are coming up to make this presentation, you need to have some speakers in the back for those of us seniors who have hearing problems, because I heard nothing she said and very little of what Dr. Worthy said because you guys talk so low or you're not talking into the microphone. So if this is for public people for us to know, we would like to hear. So please check out the sound system in here and let's get it improved. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Saluki. Any other public comment? Seeing none, this public comment is now closed. Oh, we have one more.
Good evening. My name is Ricardo Thurston. I live at 22 Holton Lane. I've been here a few times. Excuse me. I don't know if you can. I can't. My question is about, I guess I'll direct it to Mr. Harris regarding street repaving. I spoke to this about this a couple of times back that I've been here. And I know the last time I was here, the engineer did a report. They did maybe like, excuse me, I think it was in 2023, 20 streets in that year. And my question is, what plans, as I asked then, what plans do we have for doing repaving the rest of the streets in Willingboro? I lived on 22 Holton Lane, and the last time my street was paved, I think it was like 2012, if later than that. So again, I was told that the streets are being looked at based on how bad they are as to when they get listed to be done. My street is very bad. Even though it don't, like I said, coming into or turning into the corner, into the street on both ends is real bad. And I know it's not that important where it's not big potholes and stuff like that. And I want to commend Mr. Harris again. There was a couple of big potholes that I spoke to him about. He had those taken care of, and that was great. But my concern is, like I said, we paved Veteran Parkway, we paved Salem Road or Van Skyver, these big roads, but we don't pave none of the interior places. We neglect them, and they're really bad. And I just would like to have somebody look at that and start making plans to start repairing those streets. I mean, you can do one or two in condition to all these other big projects that they have. Let's pay attention to the interior of the company, that's the county, the town.
Thank you, Mr. Thurston. All right, seeing no other, this public comment is now closed. Mr. Harris, just to respond to those public comments, and I guess this would be for our marketing and for the clerk's office. For our citizen leadership forms, they are listed on the website, correct? Okay. Mr. Harris, is there anything else that can be done to market the boards and commissions to the township so that residents know about them?
That's a good question, and I don't really know that I have an answer to that question right now, something that we can discuss. You know, we make information available through Willingboro Connect. We make information available on our website. We send out and share information on all of our social media, but we can't make people engage with us, but we provide the information. So I don't know how to encourage persons to tap in to these resources, and I'm hoping that when we transition our website, it will be a little more user-friendly and may encourage a little more participation. And some of the components that they have would make it a little more accessible and available to the residents. But that's really all that I can offer in response to that particular question right now.
Okay. Councilwoman Perrin?
What about, and I think when they did give their presentation today, they did speak about having a website, so that would be one way. However, with regards to all of the committees, perhaps putting them on our calendar when they meet. So once the committee is established, as far as their leaders for the year, they could let us know what days they meet. This way we can place it on our bulletin, economic development is meeting today or something like that, or actually place a place of their reports that they want to submit, what the committee has met about, things that they think might be helpful for the community. And if they're inviting the community to attend one of their meetings or an event that they may be holding, help them advertise their meetings and any events that they're having on our Facebook page. That's another thing we can do, but most importantly, the calendar. Just a suggestion.
Okay, thank you for that suggestion, Councilwoman Brown. And Mr. Harris, if you can have your staff, especially on the online calendar for any events that
Our
I see we're having some technical difficulties. Okay, are we back recording?
Okay, we got the thumbs up. So as I was saying, PSC&G is is really beginning their first year in their repaving project, which is going to encompass about 80% of the streets in Willingboro. So we are working in tandem with them. It doesn't make sense for us to pave a road, for them to come back behind it and tear it up again to do their gas line placements. So again, I'm asking Willingboro residents to be a little patient in that regard. I made a commitment by 2026 that those streets that Willingboro, that PSC&G has already done will all be repaved by then. But moving forward, they will be continuing to interject into other streets. And again, we don't want to pave a road and then a year later for them to come in and tear it up.
Okay, so the ones that PSC&G has already done the gas line maintenance on, those will be fully repaved in 2026.
Yes.
All right. Thank you for that. Councilwoman McIntosh.
Madam Mayor, I would just ask, because Mr. Thurston has been here multiple times, that we just keep him updated, just be a little bit more specific, just for that, with Holton Street.
Yes.
To make sure even if it's not happening immediately, he understands, when it's happening and that it's not lost and it's not off the radar.
Absolutely.
All right. Moving right along, Madam Clerk, the ordinances.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Our first ordinance up for public hearing and final adoption tonight is ordinance 2025-24. I'd like to open the public hearing on ordinance 2025-24 titled Ordinance Amending and Supplementing Chapter 342 of the Code of the Township of Willingboro entitled Taxi Cabs to update and expand regulations pertaining to limousines and rename Chapter 342 of the Code to Taxi Cabs and Limousines. Anyone wishing to come forward to comment on this ordinance only, please do so.
Good evening, Mayor.
Good evening.
Members of council. My name's Tom Coleman. I'm an attorney with the firm of Raymond, Coleman and Heinold. I'm appearing here this evening on behalf of Class Act Limo, or First Class Limo, and my client, Mr. John D'Amico, who is the principal owner of excuse me, of that company. I'm not here to in any way discourage you from adopting the ordinance. And as your clerk mentioned, this is a reboot and a refreshment of what you have on the books. I would ask, though, that the council consider three modest revisions to the ordinance that frankly, I don't believe there's any legal basis for the township to include those provisions. And in that my client is the only legally permitted limousine company in the township right now, it directly affects him, okay? And if, Madam Mayor, if I could just briefly go through those, I apologize, Mr. Holt? I apologize, Mr. Holt, for getting my correspondence to you late today. Okay, we sent it about 1:30 this afternoon from my assistant, but we'll make sure you get another copy this morning, tomorrow morning. Madam Mayor, there's a provision in the ordinance that requires the township's police department to determine the fitness and the cleanliness of the cars that are to be licensed. My client has a state inspection by the Division of Motor Vehicles each year. The state statute provides self-regulation of those vehicles post DMV inspection. And I would defer to the police and your chief, but I'm wondering if the police department is ready and up to speed to be inspecting vehicles that have already been inspected by the Division of Motor Vehicles. And second, cleanliness, subjective term. I say tomato, you may say tomato. I'm wondering, my client's been in the business for close to 30 years, has an impeccable track record of safety and cleanliness in the town. So I would ask that that provision completely be stricken. There's a provision in the ordinance that deals with the posting of rates in the vehicles. That provision is really applicable to taxi cab. My client has a significant array and number of vehicles that go all over the state in the tri-state area, and the rates vary on the length, the duration, the location, the drop-off times, weekends and holidays. It's impossible and really impractical for my client to post any specific rates in their vehicles. Finally, the ordinance provides for the appointment of the township clerk as the POA, as the power of attorney for my client when my client establishes their insurance with the township. There's no legal basis for that. My client already establishes the director of the Division of Motor Vehicles as the power of attorney. So if there's some legal authority why we have to separately appoint the power of attorney as the clerk, I'm more than willing to listen to that. But I would ask that these three modest changes be included. These are changes, Madam Mayor, that would not, I would consider material, would not send you back to a first reading. I know there's probably a zest to get this done by the end of the year. So I think you could probably consider these this evening in adoption. Mr. D'Amico, do you have any comments?
Well, the definition of limousine, as you have it defined in here, includes Ubers and Lyfts. There's no exclusion of Ubers and Lyfts.
Is he asking a question?
Okay.
So, plus I don't really agree with the licensing of per vehicle. I have a mercantile license. I've had a mercantile license in Willingboro for 25 years for the business, not for each separate vehicle.
you, Madam Mayor. Those are our comments. Hope you would incorporate those modest changes in if the ordinance is to be adopted this evening.
Thank you.
Before the governing body proceeds, I'd like a minute to speak with Mr. Coleman.
Okay, on this, can we just table it?
So because it's the last meeting of December, if we don't pass it, it would die and we would just reintroduce it next year. Or
You could add it to
The December 22nd meeting?
we're not gonna have time. Yeah, that's fine.
To advertise for this?
If we are making material changes and I have to re-advertise again, then we won't have time for the 22nd meeting.
Okay.
We could table it and, yeah, go back to it at like old business if you'd like. And
Okay. Okay, well, I think we would need a recess because I wouldn't wanna go through. The next one is dealing with taxi cabs and limousines as well. Mhm. Which is, part of the conversation
I'm assuming
on
there's
the
no
licensing per vehicle.
real changes that would be warranted on that.
Okay.
And I'd like to discuss it further too, because I don't agree with everything he said. So I want the opportunity to see whatever he emailed Mr. Holt, as well as I think Mr. Holt should have an opportunity to speak with him. But I don't feel like we should rush this at all. He listed a lot of things that he thinks we shouldn't have on there, like cleanliness. It's COVID. It needs to be clean. So that's one thing. But if we pull it, then maybe 2026, since he just emailed it to our attorney at 1 p.m. today, he can't expect us to just agree with everything he just said, and we don't have the time as a council to discuss this, and for our attorney to see what he sent to us, and for the opportunity for him to speak with him. So as far as I'm concerned, it dies here, and we started from fresh in 2026. Since it is the final reading, it dies today. That's my thought.
Okay. Is that the will of council? That we table this until 2026?
I'm fine with it, Madam Mayor. I'm not quite sure of the proper procedural way to handle it, but I'm fine with waiting until the 26th.
Didn't she say it died? Is it tabling or is it died? Does it
Yeah, so Madam Clerk or Mr. Hall, how will we proceed on this if we are going to hold this ordinance until next year?
If you're going to hold it until next year, this ordinance will die at this point.
Okay.
We'll take no action.
So we don't take any action.
You don't have to take any action.
All right. Same for 2025, 2025-25. All right. So Madam Clerk will, we won't take action on those two ordinances.
Mr. Holt, because I advertised for the public hearing for 2025-25,
We
should
did.
I still open it?
Yes.
Okay. Madam Mayor, if you're ready for me to proceed.
Yes.
So our next ordinance for public hearing is 2025-25. I'd like to open the public hearing on ordinance number 2025-25 titled Ordinance Amending Chapter 150-9 of the Township Code entitled Fees for Licenses and Permits to Permit Collection of Unpaid Mercantile Licenses and Ad Limo Fees. Anyone wishing to come forward to comment on this ordinance, please do so.
Okay.
Seeing no other public, I'd like to close public comment on this ordinance. And I understand that's the will of the council to not take any action on this.
Yes. For the moment, thank you. In regards to the resolutions, Council, are there any resolutions that you'd like to pull from a consent agenda? Okay. Councilwoman Pearl?
Okay, resolution 929, resolution
I'm sorry.
I said it wrong. Resolution 292, 2025 292, and 2025 296.
Okay. Anything else? Seeing none, I'd like to propose a consent agenda for resolutions 2025-291, 2025-293 through 2025-295, and resolutions 2025-297 through resolution 2025-300.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman McIntosh, seconded by Deputy Mayor Worthy. Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilwoman Perone,
Yes.
Councilman Anderson,
Yes.
Councilwoman McIntosh,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Dr. Worthy,
Yes.
Mayor Whitfield.
Yes.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve the same?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman McIntosh, seconded by Deputy Mayor Worthy. Roll call.
Councilwoman Perone,
Yes.
Councilman Anderson,
Yes.
Councilwoman McIntosh,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Dr. Worthy,
Yes.
Mayor Whitfield.
Yes.
Thank you. Resolution for separate discussion. We have resolution 2025-292, resolution for the budget transfers of the Township of Willingboro to meet requirements for operating the affairs of the township. Can I get a motion to discuss?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman Perone, seconded by Deputy Mayor Worthy. Discussion.
Actually, I turned the page over, so I saw the information on the back, so I'm okay with voting on it. I didn't want you to
Oh.
repeat all the numbers again, so I just let you.
Okay.
I'm okay with voting on it now.
Okay.
Over and I could see everything on the back.
Yeah, it's all
I
there.
didn't see it before.
Okay.
I'm okay with that one. You want?
All right. Any other discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Councilwoman Perone,
Yes.
Councilman Anderson,
Yes.
Councilwoman McIntosh,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Dr. Worthy,
Yes.
Mayor Whitfield.
Yes.
Thank you. Our next resolution for separate discussion is Resolution 2025-296, resolution authorizing the extension of the contract for custodial services. Can I get a motion to discuss?
So moved.
Moved by Councilwoman Perone, seconded by Councilman Anderson. Discussion?
Madam Mayor.
Councilwoman Perone.
Thank you. I did ask the clerk and Mr. Harris, the township manager, to forward to me the contracts for Lee's Pristine Cleaning Services thus far. They did send me the contracts beginning in 2022 to date. I do recognize that Mr. Harris is recommending that we just renew and give them an extended 12 months for this company. My issue is the price. 2022 year to 2023, the agreement was $340,000. 2024 to 2025, they move up, the agreement was $478,000. Now, 2025-26, Mr. Harris says he's renewing the contract and increasing it to $1 million. 900, what is the figure there? 900,000, read it, it's $1 million, 900, I want you to read it, Mr. Harris. What does it say here? Okay, increasing the base contract amount from $478,358.52 to $956,717.04.
That is the total of the 2-year contracts, the 2 individual year contracts. They're 2 contracts at $497,000 a year. So the total of the 2 contracts
It's 900.
900,000. We're not increasing the contract to 900.
But that's what it says here. It says, okay, let me read it, because if it's, then maybe we need, the way I'm reading, this is what it says. It says, and there's a little typo, so I'm going to read it as with the correction. Now therefore be it resolved, the Township Committee of the Township, by the Township Committee of the Township of Willingboro County of Burlington, State of New Jersey, on the 16th day of December 2025, in open public session, that the Township Council hereby awards an extension of the existing contract for an additional 12 months commencing on January 1st, 2026, in accordance with NJSA 4811-15 to Lee's Pristine Cleaning Services, increasing the base contract amount from $700,000, $358,052 to $956,717.04. It
Correct.
says you're increasing it for the 12 months. It doesn't say 24 months. So what I'm seeing here is they're going from their base, and you're increasing, it says it literally, increasing the base contract amount from 478,000 to 956,000 in the 12 months, not 24 months. I mean,
Councilwoman Pearl, if I may,
yes.
it does say, in that same paragraph that you were reading in the second whereas, it does say, would like to execute, said option for an additional 12-month commencing January 1st, 2026, ending December 31st, 2026. So that increases the base contract amount. It's adding that additional 12 months to the contract.
The paragraph that I just read where it says now there be resolved. Is that what you were just reading? Because I wasn't.
No, I was reading in the second whereas,
Okay, whereas funds
where it
will be
says it's
appropriated.
taking the option of adding an additional 12 months.
So why would he put where the thereby be resolved, increasing the base contract?
Because we had a 1-year contract with a 1-year option, so he's taking the 1-year option,
Okay.
so that original contract amount,
Mhm.
it adds the additional year to the
Okay.
base amount.
I would have just thought it meant, it would have just said renewing the contract for this figure, not.
No, because we're not renewing the contract. We're not signing a
Mm.
new contract. We're adding an additional 12 months.
Mr. Jason saw this already, so it's not an increase.
No.
Okay, okay. Those are my concerns.
Okay. All right. Any other questions on that? Seeing none, roll call.
Councilwoman Perone,
Yes.
Councilman Anderson,
Yes.
Councilwoman McIntosh, Deputy Mayor Dr. Worthy,
Yes.
Mayor Whitfield.
Yes.
Thank you. Those are all your resolutions tonight. We do have an executive session.
We do have an executive session. All right, we have no treasurer's report at this time and no minutes to approve at this time. Madam Clerk, your clerk's report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So as we round out the year, just some quick updates. To keep you up to date on the solicitors in town, we've had no new applications come in. I'm sure they don't really want to be walking in the cold, but they do have their solicitation permit until December 31st of this year. The current companies that are legally allowed to solicit in town are Trinity Solar, Topline Roofing, Home Solutions, Home Smart First Advantage, Green Star Exterior, Eco Shield Pest Control, and Allied Experts. Like I said, their permits all expire December 31st, 2025. We're sending out letters to them to let them know that, coming January 1st, you can't keep soliciting until you come back and redo the application process. That is coming up down the pike. Continually, I'd like to remind dog owners in town that depending on if they have a 1-year or 3-year dog license through the town, that will also be expiring on December 31st as well. If residents are unsure when their dog license expires, you can call my office. We can let you know. After January, owners will incur a late fee of $15. So we want to try and get you all licensed before then. And then finally, I'd just like to remind residents that our 2026 reorganization meeting will be held at the Kennedy Center on January 6th, 2026 at 6 p.m. And then other than that, I'd just like to wish everyone a safe and healthy holiday, and I'm excited for what's to come in 2026.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. All right. Any questions for our clerk on her report? Seeing none, we'll move right along. Unfinished business. Councilwoman Perone, do you have any other updates on Hometown Heroes project?
Well, the last update was supposed to put together a resolution, a draft. I'm not sure if I didn't see a draft come through. I did send information to our clerk with regards to the details that I currently had received, and just some preliminary information as far as duration. I know we talked about whether or not we're going to leave the flags up for, that's,
Yes, I did
And
put the
there is one.
resolution in the, in the
It's in our packet. Mm-hmm.
so this is, I have to look at it then, so maybe we
Okay.
can talk about it.
So we do have that draft resolution in our packets for council's review. If there are any changes or anything that you'd like to be added or modified from that, please let our clerk know and we'll make those changes and work towards getting this program up and running in 2026.
Thank you, Sam.
All right, and then the landscaping and edging throughout the township. Mr. Harris, were you able to send that plan out to council?
Tomorrow.
Okay. All right, so I know that was a request of yours, Councilwoman Perone as well, so. All right, any new business?
I guess it's new business. I have a concern. I'm gonna put it in the new business, I guess.
Okay. Councilwoman Perone.
Thank you. I know we had a couple of meetings reviewing our budgets for 2026. I'm bringing the concern of spending as it relates to the Jazz Festival. It is a nice event. However, I think that we need to be a little bit more conscientious about how much we're spending as pertaining to our revenue expense. I did ask Mr. Harris if he could send me a report on the past 4 years of the expenses of the Jazz Festival compared to our revenue. So in summary, in 2022, we spent $130,000 and revenue was $35,000. In 2023, we spent $150,000, revenue was $64,000. In 2024, we spent $170,000, revenue was $46,000. And in 2025, we spent $209,000 and revenue $57,000. So as you can see, with the revenue, we are not even making even. We're not coming close to receiving anything. It is just strictly an expense. And how I do love community activities. The people that come to the Jazz Festival are not the community of Willingboro. They're coming from all over different areas, and the people of Willingboro just cannot afford these rates. So I think going 2026, I don't want to see the Jazz Festival go away, but we need to really, with the council, I'm just bringing it to your attention, really look at how much we're spending for this event compared to what we're receiving. Just wanted to bring that to your attention.
Okay. Deputy Mayor Worthy.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Councilwoman Perone, I agree 100% with what you said, and the council has requested year over year for more fiduciary responsibility with the Jazz Fest. I know for 2026, there's supposed to be sponsorship packages going forward. Those sponsorship packages in the past have not been very comprehensive or very lucrative for the town. I know that Mr. Duckett will be involved with the 2026 planning, and he's beginning those plans now. But I agree with you in terms of, the amount of money that's been spent. Each year we're asked to put in more and more money, but the return isn't there. And while it's not supposed to necessarily be a moneymaker for the town, we do strive to break even or come close, as it is a wonderful amenity for the town. We definitely don't want to see it go away. But I think with new leadership and a new vision for understanding how there are different revenue streams to promote an event like this, to have those sponsorships, how we go about setting vending fees and things like that, I believe we can get some better financial return, and we can probably ask Mr. Harris to have Mr. Duckett give us some financial projections before we start committing more money to the 2026 Jazz Fest. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yes, and I'll just add that during our budget hearings, we did discuss this, the funding for the Jazz Festival, how that has increased year over year. So I am in agreement. I definitely don't want to see the Jazz Festival go away. I think the last Jazz Festival was one of the best jazz festivals that we've had to date, and I got a lot of good reviews from residents on that. So we definitely don't want to necessarily see the quality go down, but we need to find a way to bring in more revenue on that event. So thank you for bringing that up. All right, any other new business?
Just,
Councilwoman Pearl.
I just wanted to put, one of the residents that spoke, gave a suggestion about speakers in the back. Maybe that's something we can look into. Are there speakers in the back or not? 'Cause I don't,
They're in the ceilings. You can see them on the tiles. There are speakers
okay, Yeah.
throughout the courtroom,
okay. To turn it up, okay,
but it's the volume.
okay. So we already have it there. That's all right.
All right. At this time, we'll open it for our general public comment section. This is our general public comment section. Each resident will have 4 minutes. Please state your name and address when you come to the microphone and fill out a card in the back and hand it to either our deputy clerk or our township clerk so that they can provide any follow-up if necessary. Public comment is now open.
Assalamu alaikum, which means peace and blessings to you, Mayor and the council. My name is Karen Abdul Malik. I live at 75 Tiffany Lane, Willingboro, New Jersey. First, I want to start off because my comments are really starting with Mr. Duckett in that space. I'm so glad to hear about the theater and the progression of the theater. I came here and moved to Willingboro in 1987. And my husband and I very quickly became involved in the Willingboro community, so much so that when my husband made transition, he was killed in an accident. Willingboro reached out to me because we didn't know where we could have his janaza. I think Kendall was the one who called me and said you could have it in that auditorium. And so we had that janaza in that auditorium, and I knew right away, I understood right away that Willingboro, the township, the recreation department, they were in community. They were in community with us. A couple years later, in 1996, I went to Mr. McFarland and I asked if we could have the Willingboro Kwanzaa Festival. And Kwanzaa, of course, is a holiday that celebrates African American culture and heritage. Anyone can celebrate with us, but it is about celebrating our values, our community, and building our community. And with that, you know, I came to him and he said yes, and Mr. McFarland, actually I went to Jill. Jill went to Mr. McFarland. I think Mr. McFarland went to the council, and that was almost 30 years ago. And so for 30 years, the facility, you sponsored it with us, and I thank you so much for giving us that facility. But in what just happened with the non-transition, because it wasn't a proper transition, with your with the community, the way what happened to us in the community was horrific. It was horrific. I called Todd Evans to invite him to be on to do the open mic for it. I had already heard from Dion Bolton and have an email that says that we had the building on December 27th. I had an email from her that says I have the email. And the other reason the email came on June 25th was because I was asking about the theater. I saw that I thought the theater was going to be open. I heard news. And so she said she would get me in touch with Mr. Duckett, but it wasn't ready yet. And that's why she said, but you have the hall. So we grew to where we had the main hall, the new main hall, because of course the main hall wasn't there before. the LRC, all of the LRC, because that's how well we grew. And we have like 300 people coming, and it truly is, Kwanzaa is a communal event. And so we have the AKAs, we have DST, the chapters here, Zeta Phi Beta, Underground Railroad, I Am Kenny J, the African American Inventors, Jack and Jill of Burlington, the NAACP, and my nonprofit, In Fact. We all sponsor this together. And when I talked to Todd, he said to me, you better check because I was just following what I always do. I had already known from Dion, so we had already met. The team had met, we discussed it, and I was on my way to ordering the yard signs and the cards when he said, you better check, because there's been a big change. I didn't know there was a big change. And
Time is up.
I'm sorry, Ms. Abdul Malik, your
Mhm.
time is up, but we will be in touch with you to get the remainder of your statement.
all right, I just want you to know it is happening in Burlington at the Burlington Quaker Center. And I also thank the school board because Dr. Lewis was wonderful, but we couldn't do $8,000 and the school board was going to cut it to half for us. But thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Abdul Malik.
Mariam Saluki again, 279 Tiffany Lane. And I'm just following up what Queen Noor was saying about Kwanzaa. I mean, we know how long Kwanzaa has been here in Willingboro. I mean, we watched you grow up in Kwanzaa. So, and we know, Nate, that all of you guys know how important it is. So it's very disturbing to me to see a 30-year tradition just be discarded so quickly, because according to the message I got from Queen Noor was that when she found out that we couldn't have it or we weren't on the calendar, that she was told that, well, we just gave it to a wedding, maybe 1 or 2 hours before she spoke to the person. And I'm like, that's enough time for you to say, look, I'm so sorry, we made a mistake. We had something else on that day. We're gonna have to step back because this is something that has been here. For this to move to Burlington is almost an affront to us because Willingboro is predominantly an African-American community, and this is, as she said, a communal event. And so what we had to do to just pull it together. So I'm really disappointed, and I just want to express my disappointment. And this is not something that I would have expected. We had high hopes for our council. I mean, we've been here. We watched it change. We watched the demographics of this council change. So this is not an issue that I would think we would ever have had to be concerned about. That a cultural event like this would be something that was just sort of I feel kicked to the side. So unfortunately, it is what it is. I'm very happy to know that even with about 10 days of being able to advertise it, we've already gotten a response of over 100 people who are going to attend over in Burlington. But if any of you have ever been to the one here in Willingboro, this is where that event should be held. So I hope that in the future, whenever there's a transition, whoever is leaving, whatever, there are certain things that you should make sure transition out, that we do have a much smoother exchange. So I'm not really sure what happened, but really, want you to know I'm disappointed in that.
Thank you, Ms. Saluki.
Good evening again, council. My name is Ricardo Thurston, again, 22 Holton Lane, and I just want to reiterate what Queen Noor said, Dr. Saluki said, because I've been involved with this Kwanzaa Festival since 1996. As you said about the Jazz Festival, which I was involved with that when it was in Twin Hills, this Kwanzaa Festival is something like that Jazz Festival. It's been going on for so long that it should not have just been tossed to the side or ignored. Not even thought about, because we have been the last 6 years or 7 years, we have been at the Kennedy Center or the community center doing this program. And like she says, we have a large turnout of people coming. We have a collective group of people doing it, and it's a cultural event. Like I said, I grew up with this. My sons, my kids, my grandkids. To have this did what was done to it this year is an atrocity. And I just wanted to register that to you.
Thank you, Mr. Thurston.
Good evening.
Evening.
My name is Kendrick Johnson. I am coming on behalf of the Beloved Project of New Jersey. I am the project's new HUD counselor. Just wanted to come and introduce myself to you all and to let you know kind of what we will be doing there in the offices there in the Kennedy Center. We will be offering group and individual counseling there, homeownership counseling, pre and post-purchase education, foreclosure prevention, rental assistance, including diversion education, assistance for unhoused individuals, financial management education to include budgeting and credit education and management. Our goal is to foster housing sustainability here in the community by decreasing foreclosures, delinquencies, and defaults. In return, we want to make sure that we can foster an environment of individual household wealth. And so we are here to serve the community. So starting in January, there'll be information on the website as to how individuals can register for one-on-one counseling as well as group education counseling on the Beloved Project website and social media channels.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
Shirley Dilworth, Newport Lane. My concern, this is not the first time that I've been here about the concerns that I have with code enforcement. Okay, I really would like to know how code enforcement is done in the township, because it doesn't appear that it is done the same way it has been done in the past. Now, that's okay. Things do change. But there are certain code enforcement violations that are not given the attention that I think it needs to be given. One of the violations, well, several of the violations are along Northampton Drive. Okay, if any code enforcement officer would ride along Northampton Drive, you would see some of the things that I'm concerned about. Okay, now I'm not going to give any addresses, because I don't want to be responsible for that. But along Northampton Drive, there are wrecked cars that are covered with tarps, okay? And they are parked on the driveway, and that sort of conceals it. But there are also vehicles on Northampton Drive that are jacked up, okay, for 4 or more weeks. So these are violations that are these are situations that are in violation, okay, of your own codes, okay? But it doesn't seem to, no one seems to be doing anything about this, okay? In addition, to the two that I just mentioned, trash containers, okay, recycled containers are stored in front of the garage, okay? There are also broken fence, okay, that have been broken for at least 1 year. And, this really concerns me that no one seems to be doing anything about it. Okay? In addition to the things that I just mentioned, there are vehicle transports that are parked at Martin Luther King School. They park there almost every weekend. And I know there are places around in the county where these types of vehicles are supposed to be, parked. but they seem to have found a place to park at Martin Luther King School. Okay, and also vehicle transporters on Northampton Drive on the weekend, not during the week. So that's why it's very important for code enforcement people, to get out there to take a look. Okay, I'm concerned about it, and I hope that whoever is in charge of code enforcement in the township, will at least do something about it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Dilworth.
You're welcome.
All right, seeing no other public comment is now closed. Mr. Harris, I'll go to you to start with the responses, please. The Kwanzaa event, the booking of the Kwanzaa event.
So that was a very unfortunate situation, and I absolutely agree with everything that Ms. Malik was saying in regard to that, and how it was an injustice. However, and I'm sure that she had conversations with a particular individual in that department at the time. But other than those conversations, there was no record. There was nothing on a calendar. There were no documentations. There was no contractual agreements that would have indicated that anything was transpiring in the center on that particular day. And it was very unfortunate that almost simultaneously, somebody came in and paid for their wedding that was scheduled, was booked to take place in the banquet center that very same day. And I don't disagree that unfortunate, but it was something that happened. It wasn't an intentional act against them. It's not something that the township was doing to them. It was something that happened because certain policies and procedures were not followed. And we are correcting, making adjustments in that particular department to see that some of these deficiencies are finally put to rest. And again, I'm very sorry that it occurred, but it was not intentional to this particular event.
Okay, thank you for that, Mr. Harris. And Ms. Abdul Malik, I do also Dr. Saluki and Mr. Thurston, you all commented on that event. And I do agree. I've never personally been to that Kwanzaa event, but I know it's been a longstanding tradition here in Willingboro, and it is terribly unfortunate that it was not on the books in order to go forward this year. But we have made a number of procedural changes in the recreation department to ensure things like this don't happen in the future. And we look forward to having the Kwanzaa event back in Willingboro next year. Anyone else have any questions or comments? No? All right, we'll move on. Thank you, Mr. Johnson, for promoting the HUD counselor at the Beloved Project. Especially now more than ever in these economic times, it is so important that we continue to support residents so that they can stay in their homes, do not lose their homes, and avoid being unhoused. So thank you for your services. Thank you, Ms. Archer, for adding this service to the office at the JFK. And then Ms. Dilworth about code enforcement. Mr. Harris, could we, do you have a response or should we invite Mr. Tunstall up?
I do, but we can invite Mr. Tunstall up as well. Again, I wish that Willingboro had 0 code enforcement violations, but every day somebody is doing something. In my report, I reported in November, there were 667 code enforcement violations that were issued. There were 909 cases that were brought into compliance. So to say that code enforcement is not doing anything, I don't think that is accurate representation of what's happening in Willingboro. And I will ask Mr. Tunstall to elaborate. And if Chief Brooks is still in the room, you know, his department is very active in handling these situations. But there are processes and procedures. And, you know, when a truck is parked there on Friday, by the time we're ready for it to get towed on Monday, it's gone. So, you know, these are the things that we are constantly put our backs up against the wall. But I will defer to Mr. Tunstall, and then if Chief Bucks wants to chime in as well, I would welcome his comments.
Good evening, council.
Good evening.
Per our last discussion on last meeting, when it was talked about as far as Northampton being an issue, I had the code enforcement officer go out directly to Northampton that next morning. There were 27 notifications given, including trash cans as well as vehicle that were parked and not properly covered. If a vehicle is covered, according to our code, it can be parked in the driveway legally. All right, and as far as the vehicles that are parking up at MLK, as you know, the school district is going through a major construction phase, and a lot of their vehicles are being parked over there. A lot of the trucks are being parked over there. I talked to the superintendent of the school district at that time. He informed me that they will be using that location to park many of those vehicles that are involved in that transition. However, as far as transport vehicles, I will have to, of course, get with Chief Bucks if the vehicles are in the street. But we do have one code enforcement officer that works every weekend. And that code enforcement officer is responsible for the entire township. It is a daunting task at best. However, I will have that individual who works this weekend circle through Northampton and make sure we cover the street in its entirety. There are issues where if we give a citation for a trash can being parked, or a trash can being placed in the front of the property, sometimes the next day they put it in the back of the property, on the side of the property, and the following week it might be back in the front. So it's an ongoing process. It's an ongoing battle, if you will, and we are addressing them. We have the code enforcement officer for Garfield North is very diligent and has, I can show you a list of all the notifications he's given in that particular park. But it is not going to stop tomorrow. It's going to be something that we'll be battling every day. But if I don't have any specific addresses, it's very difficult for me to address the entire street. But I will have them go through there again tomorrow and check the entire street.
All right.
All right?
Thank you, Mr. Tunstall.
You're welcome.
Chief Bucks?
Yeah, the only thing that I will add to Mr. Tunstall is, you know, as far as we are concerned, is just call us, call 911. We obviously, you know, similar to what Mr. Tunstall says, you know, we're responsible for the whole municipality. We handle about 45,000 calls for service a year. So if you see something that we don't necessarily see at that time, and then we could drive by and not see it, or maybe go into a different type of call, see it, and then another call comes out, may not be able to get back to it. But if anyone sees, and this goes for the entire municipality, something that just isn't, you know, doesn't look right or doesn't seem right or is in a violation of one of our ordinance, call our non-emergency line, call 911. We'll get dispatched out there. Now it becomes a documentation where if, you know, where I'll be able to see if, okay, we had a violation, what did our officers do? If officers didn't handle it the correct way, we can address the officers. So any violation that you see, if you see, you know, on Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, that there's a vehicle parked at MLK School, call us, we'll go out. We'll be able to determine what type of vehicle is it supposed to be there, if it's not supposed to be there, and then we can follow up and either issue an ordinance, possibly have it towed. Same thing if it's on the street. We handle anything that's on the street.
All right. Thank you, Chief Bucks. All right, and Ms. Dilworth, I did want to just thank you for bringing those violations and code enforcement issues to our attention. Our residents are our first line of defense and making sure people are following the rules. So thank you for bringing those to our attention, and I assure you that our inspections is on it. All right. And I believe that was all. Is there anything that I'm missing? Councilwoman McIntosh.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Mr. Harris, I want to just circle back to the Kwanzaa event quickly. I know that while we're changing up and we're revamping the recreational department, I would just, I don't want to overstep our bounds as a council, but can we be made aware? Like if something that's a big, something of that caliber is brought to our attention, kind of didn't know. I mean, I heard rumors of that, but I didn't know that it was canceled because of maybe a wedding. I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying it would have been nice to know that an event of that caliber was maybe not going according to plan. Again, don't want to overstep, us as the council's responsibilities, but it's kind of disheartening to hear like right, in public, without knowing that did happen.
I don't.
And Deputy Mayor Worthy?
Councilwoman, I can speak to that. When I was made aware, it was when Ms. Abdul Malik came to my place of business to come bring her concern about Willingboro Township issues to my place of business. And I was able to have a discussion with her there. I did share with her that there was a transition in recreation and that, and I spoke to Mr. Harris that evening and again in the morning. I did meet with Ms. Spellman and shared that this particular event, like some others, were captured in a separate place, not in the MyRec system, not reserved through the protocols, not with the contractual agreement. There was no documentation. So through the transition of recreation, there was nothing to transition because it wasn't captured in the actual system where all the reservations, very similar to what happened in October with an event where there were changes that had to be made at the last minute to try to accommodate the event. And that, we had challenges back then. What I did recommend to Ms. Abdul Malik and sent her a message about the steps of how to approach the school district. I actually reached out to school board members as well as to the acting superintendent on her behalf. And then I documented the process of how to be able to reserve space through the school district, not understanding what their fee structure was. I provided that information. I then followed up again with board members and the assistant superintendent. They explained to me and to Ms. Abdul Malik the fee schedule that they have, and because of the cost of actual staff, they wouldn't be able to waive all those costs. I then followed up with Ms. Spellman to see what spaces were available at the JFK Center for the same day and slots of time, where we identified that the LRC, the lower and the upper levels, along with classrooms 4 and 5, would be available, and the hallways surrounding the business. Ms. Abdul Malik said none of that was satisfactory. They had outgrown all of that space. She was irate on the phone and proceeded to hang up the phone. And so she said it was insufficient. So council did, or the administration, everyone, we tried to work with what we had. Once we found out that the banquet room was no longer available, there are no other spaces of that caliber. Even with the gym, we wouldn't have been able to configure it properly and protect the floor and have enough tables and chairs to be able to meet the requirements of the event. But none of the other options were suitable to Ms. Abdul Malik. So we did try to we tried to find a suggestion. Mr. Harris, I guess in the future, if you write it up as a report to the entire council, then everybody would have that, but we were unable to resolve it.
All right. Thank you for everyone that spoke this evening. And before we head into executive session, I will call for council comments.
I'd like to begin by thanking the community for participating, hanging out with us twice a month during the council meetings. those who took the time to actually come into the building, as well as those online. Thank the manager, his staff, and employees for a prosperous and productive 2025. On a sad note, one of our local business owners, Seafood Haven, Mr. Tony Williams, passed away earlier this week. So just keep his wife, Annette, and family in your prayers, if you will. Thank you for the Economic Development Committee for their presentation. Thank you to a job well done for Mr. Bradley Chapman. His team over at Public Works did a great job on the streets. Just once again, kudos to you guys. I know this is getting old here, but congratulations, Mr. Tunstall, for surpassing the $1 million mark, you and your team. So thank you again for that hard work that you guys do put in. I'd like to thank my council colleagues for all the work and continued commitment to the Willingboro community that you have shown. I'm almost done. All right. Finally, got to thank my main man back there, Mr. Gary B. Lowry III. You got to get that third in there. Congratulations on receiving a 100% grade on your capstone research paper for your CPM, which is Certified Public Manager course. Looking forward to your final presentation in January. And also like to make mention that the Community Recreation Summit will be held on January 14th, 2026 from 6 o'clock to 8:30 at the Kennedy Center. And everyone, please have a safe and happy holiday season.
Thank you, Councilman Anderson. Anyone else? Deputy Mayor Worthy.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I echo my council members' sentiments in his retirement speech. Mr. Bradley Chapman, I want to congratulate you on 1 year. Thank you for all that you have done for Willingboro Township in the year that you've been here. We appreciate your efforts. We appreciate everyone's efforts, but Mr. Chapman had some big shoes to fill, and we just appreciate what you've done and how you've been able to create a vision and then execute that. Thank you so much. And our very own Mr. Harris is celebrating his 4-year anniversary with us December 21st. It's not here yet, but congratulations in advance. We appreciate what you've done in stabilizing the municipality, and we do have some more goals. Don't worry, more goals in 2026. More projects to execute, and we'll be updating our strategic plan. And so I look forward to working together with you and the administration on that. But thank you so much for your leadership. We know that there's a lot of long nights and very busy days, but we appreciate you and the work that you've done. Thank you to my council colleague and to Mayor Samantha E. Whitfield for a successful term as mayor for the year. We appreciate your efforts and your sacrifice. Happy holidays, Willingboro.
All right, anyone else? Councilwoman McIntosh.
Mayor, I do, again, want to echo my other council colleagues. I don't want to repeat it, but I just want to take the time to say happy holidays to my community that raised me, that nurtured me all these years. I'm glad to be of service here. But I just want to make sure we continue to love one another, continue to be neighbors, continue to look out for each other. That's going to be my message every time I'm on this dais. I do think community is very important. We do a lot of legislation, there's a lot of work, there's a trash, infrastructure, there's all of that. But when it comes down to it, we are each other's keepers, and we got to continue to be each other's keepers. So happy holidays, safe, and just a prosperous and abundant new year. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman McIntosh. Councilwoman Pearl.
Yes, thank you. I do to echo some of the comments. I do want to thank all of our staff. I appreciate all of you, from the police department to EMS to the fire department to our administrators, to our cleaning crew. Thank you, all of you. To run a municipal, we couldn't have done it without you. So you are appreciated. And I also want to a little bit of, it's so funny because I was going to say something that I think I'll probably work with Councilman McIntosh maybe next year. I just want everyone to be mindful. Yes, we are approaching holiday season. So I want you to remember your senior neighbors. And I really would like for us to adopt a parent program in Willingboro, whereby perhaps, you have a senior member that maybe their children are far away or their loved ones have passed away already. And you know what? There's a lot of snow out there, helping them with their trash can, putting it to the front, putting it to the back. And maybe we could have a list of those senior residents that would need a little bit of help, and they could add their name to the Adopt a Grandparent program. The program already exists. I'm not creating the program, but we don't have it in Willingboro. And so maybe that's something that we could initiate here after we get the Hometown Hero programs up and running. But yeah, just before the program exists, just be mindful. I know I do it with my neighbors. Be mindful of your neighbors. And if you happen to know that they just need a little bit of help, just help them out. And I just want to wish everybody a happy holiday. And I'll see you next year. Oh, actually on the 22nd.
On 22nd,
Before
yeah.
we get-
Yeah, one more meeting yet.
One meeting.
One more meeting left this year.
Yeah, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Perone. And lastly, Willingboro, I do want to just say thank you. Thank you for a wonderful year this year. It has been an honor and a pleasure to serve you as mayor. We've had tremendous growth over the past few years, and 2025 was no different. We did pave some roads, we got some new equipment installed, we improved our amenities here in Willingboro. Some of those will be opening next year. We're paying more attention to our green spaces and upgrading those. It's just really been an incredible experience, and I want to thank each and every one of you for your participation in that. This community is nothing without its residents, and the residents of Willingboro is really where the heart is. So thank you all for everything that you do every day for the community, whether we see it or not, whether we call it out or not, whether anyone thanks you or not. I just want to take the opportunity to say thank you for all of you've done in 2025. And I look forward to continuing to grow and prosper Willingboro in 2026. All right. Also, I did want to also thank the fire department, Chief Burnett, Chief Bucks, our Santa Union. We have a union of Santas, but our Santa Union for all of their love that they poured out to the community in the 2025 Santa Run. The upgraded sleigh is phenomenal. And I know that is the one event that Willingboro takes to every resident's door. It's an incredible experience. I know I rode on the truck. I try to ride on the sleigh every year. Because it's really a great opportunity to not only to see the residents that you don't typically see, the elderly residents waving from their window with such excitement, children running out sometimes barefoot without coats, but to see Santa coming down the street on the sleigh, and it really does just get you in the spirit and bring so much joy to the community. So thank you to all those involved, all the hard work, the cold nights. Some of them were very cold nights. And thank you to our Santa Union for bringing joy to Willingboro throughout this season. Also, thank you to the administration for all of the winter events. Our holiday season has really become something. So I look forward to the continuation and increased thoughtfulness as we continue in next year. All right. And that's all I had to say. Happy holidays, Willingboro. Happy New Year to everyone. Don't forget, we do have a meeting on the 22nd. And also a planning board meeting that is open to the entire community, looking at the master plan on January 12th. Please check the website, information on that. January 12th at 6 p.m., correct, Madam Clerk? We will be reviewing our new master plan. There are lots of elements, lots of things in there. So please take a look at that. And we look forward to seeing you on the 12th and the 14th as we frame the future of Willingboro. We do have executive session this evening, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have an executive session tonight, which is Resolution 2025-301. Resolution 2025-301, resolution authorizing a closed executive session in accordance with the New Jersey Open Public Meeting Act for attorney-client privilege and contractual negotiation matters. Can I get a motion?
So moved. Second. Moved by Councilman Anderson, seconded by Mayor Whitfield. Roll call.
Councilwoman Perone,
Yes.
Councilman Anderson,
Yes.
Councilwoman McIntosh.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Dr. Worthy.
Yes.
Mayor Whitfield.
Yes.
Thank you.
We need to extend the meeting. Do we need to come out of executive first?
Yeah, can we come out of, can I get a motion to come out of executive session?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Councilwoman Perone, seconded by Deputy Mayor Worthy.
Thank you. We're now out of executive session at 9:55 PM. Can I get a motion to extend the meeting? What do you,
Until 10:30.
can I get a
Oh,
motion
we
to
won't need the whole time.
extend?
10:40?
Okay, 10:30.
Can I get a motion to extend the meeting till 10:30 PM?
moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman Perone, seconded by Councilwoman McIntosh. Roll call?
Councilwoman Perone,
Yes.
Councilman Anderson,
Yes.
Councilwoman McIntosh, Deputy Mayor Dr. Worthy.
Yes.
Mayor Whitfield.
Yes.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to go back into executive session?
So second. Moved by Councilwoman Perone, seconded by Mayor Whitfield. That's me.
You want me to read the resolution again? The resolution, we're going into executive session for attorney-client privilege and contract negotiations.
Okay.
Oh, resolution 2025-301. 301, resolution authorizing a closed executive session for attorney-client privilege and contract negotiation.
All right. Roll call?
Councilwoman Perone,
Yes.
Councilman Anderson.
Yes.
Councilwoman McIntosh.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Dr. Worthy.
Yes.
Mayor Whitfield.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, Madam Clerk.
Can I get a motion to come out of executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman Perron, seconded by Councilwoman McIntosh. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right. I'd like to ask for a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
That's so quick. Moved by Deputy Mayor Worthy, seconded by Councilman Anderson. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Good evening, Willingboro, and happy holidays. Oh, we are adjourned at 10:32.